Welcome back, you filthy exiles. Whoa, bloody contact lenses. Alright, so, you guys would have seen on stream that I've been playing something a little new. I took my old Vortex character and I converted it to a low-life Detonate dead, Volatile dead character. In particular, a Spellslinger. So, what you'll see on screen is this crazy cacophony of shit going on. By the way, I've got MTXs on this, and I've already bought one of the new supporter packs because I couldn't help myself, and I have no self-control. But anyway, how does this work? So, for anyone who understands Spellslinger or has played it before, basically, Spellslinger is as simple as this. You attach it in with the skill gems and support gems of your choice, and then from there, it reserves mana based on the modifiers of those gems. Then, you run something like Frenzy or Power Siphon, in this case Frenzy, because we get attack speed out of it, and you run that at level 1, so you have minimal mana cost. And then as you cast that, which you make as your main attack button, or main attack casting skill, you trigger all the spells that are attached to your Spellslinger kit up. And that's pretty much how this works. So that's what this build's doing, and that's what's going on here. Now, damage-wise, this one's interesting because we've got to look at it at a disaggregated level. So, Detonate dead. 236,000 DPS, and this is Sirus DPS. Where is it? There it is, Sirus DPS, with everything that needs to be ticked on, 236,000 DPS per explosion. Say you have 10, well, you've got 2 mil DPS there. Then we have our Volatile dead, which is 154,000. Now, you have 60 Volatile dead orbs. So, if we bring up a calculator, so we have 154,123 times 60, nearly 9.2 million DPS. So this is clocking at probably close to 12 million DPS right now. Best case scenario. So anyway, how do we get to this? Well, that's what we're going to talk about now. And basically talk about how it all works. I should probably also add that this is low life, and I'll explain that as well. So let's go into the gearing and let's have a look at what gear makes us tick. Okay, so from gearing perspective, this is just using Crown of the Inward Eye. It's really important that you get a 30% increased mana reservation efficiency for Spellslinger, otherwise you're not going to be able to run the auras on this, and that's going to drop your damage significantly, and it's just not going to work the same. This is the toughest part of this build. To get it to the level where, as you would have seen in the B-roll, where you can do, was it the Twisted, and also just blast through maps, and we'll do a map right at the end. You know, you really need this. This is really finicky mana reservation control at this stage. So from there, you'll need a Prism Guardian, obviously. We're doing low life. So Prism Guardian, it means that you can kit out your auras in here, and it'll reserve life and leave your ES alone. Which means that we need to have a piece of armor that stops chaos from bypassing our energy shield, i.e. Shavron's Wrapping. Now, I lucked out and got an all-white socket Shavs, which is crazy that I found that for 80 chaos, but, you know, that's the world that we live in, with this crangled world that we live in now. So that's the purpose of Shavs, so there's your low-life component there. Obviously, then we have a Presence of Chayula, with a charisma roll on that, or anoint, which is like 2 golden oils, and an opalescent oil. From there, we just have a really basic ratchet wand. Now, I would like to have +1 to spell gems as well, which would increase my damage again. But I can't get that for cheap. It's like 10 to 20x, and I'm not too keen on doing builds that are in that sort of area, because it's a lot of currency to spend. So it's +1 to level all fire skills, 90% spell damage, and you do need trigger a socketed spell, which you get from syndicate missions, from just killing boss after boss after syndicate boss until you get that particular modifier. Gloves, not the best gloves, or you know, my other resistance caps, and also just a shitload of energy shield. You can get better gloves, but at this stage these are doing the job, and you know, these are worth, you know, a pretty penny anyway. Belt. So I crafted this crystal belt. Gives you a massive amount of energy shield, elemental damage, and also take advantage of the energy shield per second regen while near a rare or unique enemy, which helps with boss fights significantly. This will set you back what? I think this last benchmarked at like 2x or something like that. Apparently it can't find it. Let's see if we can push it on. Apparently it doesn't exist. Let's take that out. Alright. I don't believe that that's a 20x belt, but if that's the case, holy shit. I crafted it, so I didn't price it. I'm using it. Boots, same thing. These are just Arcana Slippers, 186 ES. These are actually not cheap, 256 Chaos, so what's that, 1.5x, like 2x. And also have an Onslaught roll on these and the Regenerate. Now, Regenerate, I've only got 1%, 2% would be better, but I don't have that. And these are probably worth, like, actually 5x. Outside of that, rings, I am using Circle of Anguish. This is a really cheap one. I probably should get a much better one, but it breaks my build as soon as I play with decks because, unfortunately, attribute stacking is really difficult with this build. And then I've also got a ring here, which gives me elemental weakness on hit. I'd like to get flammability on hit. Note, it is really important to have non-channeling skills have -7 to total mana cost. Otherwise, this build's just not going to work. Unfortunately, this is not a cheap ring. If we have a look, yeah, it doesn't even really exist. So this is going to set you back significantly in your costs. And this is also an amethyst ring as well, so it gives me chaos resist, which is how we tank things so easily. But there's more, and it gets more expensive from here. So we do have just an energy from within. I've got a 4% damage roll. Nothing crazy there. Nothing crazy over this side. We are using a large thread of hope. This is so we can link up all these other nodes here without having to spend the points to get to those nodes and really maximize the build. We also are running a Watcher's Eye with 30 energy shield gained when each enemy is hit while you've got Discipline up. Unfortunately, this one is not cheap. I think I priced this at, yeah, 5x. So 5x Watcher's Eye. This is so you can just sort of sit on enemies and just cast Frenzy and just absolutely blast them while they're smashing the shit out of us, which is why this build can do some pretty crazy shit. I do have a Replica's Conqueror's Efficiency gem. This is just also reducing mana cost, so I think my total cost of Frenzy is like 2 mana. Doesn't really tell me, unless I got no... Yeah, it's like 2 mana. Then as we come down, we've got one more down here, which is just a roll with Corrupted Blood immunity. Because Corrupted Blood's a real problem, so this is how we get around it. Now, Cluster Jewel, I am running Widespread Destruction, Corrosive Elements, and Prismatic Heart. And the reason why I'm running Corrosive Elements is this means that you do fire exposure on hit with fire skills. So as a fire skill hits an enemy, there's a 25% chance that it'll apply fire exposure, which means if they're out of range of your Wave of Conviction, which we'll talk about shortly, then we don't need to worry about that because it'll do its thing. And it has a 1 in 4 chance of applying fire exposure. That's basically the gear setup. Flasks, movement speed flask, or your Quicksilver. Rumi's Concoction, because this runs an element of max block, and I'll discuss that shortly. Cinder Swallow, obviously, because we're doing ignite damage, and this is the best flask for this. It's only like, what, 10 chaos at the moment. It's really cheap. The Wise Oak as well, and we also use Atsiri's Promise to push our resistances up for chaos, and also increase our leech, because this actually uses a synergy of energy shield regen, recharge rate, leech, block, and also just straight flat energy shield regen, and also energy shield on hit, which is why this is so tanky. Yeah, that's pretty much the rollout. I should probably also add, every single one of these has used when charges reach full, so we get that sort of cheap man's Mage Blood effect. Ideally, I'd like to get a Headhunter, but I ain't made of money, so I ain't made of Exalts. So yeah, this belt's just going to have to do for now. Anyway, let's have a look at the gems in the next part. Alright, so, gem setups. So, we do have in the Helm an Enlighten, which I'm aware of is really expensive, and this is almost at level 3. So, that means if you don't have that, you won't be able to run Tempest Shield on this version of the build. I have level 10 Immortal Call, custom damage taken, Tempest Shield, because we want the spell block off of that, so we get close to max block. In our Prism Guardian, we're going to reserve Discipline, Zealotry, and also Anger, and this is going to level up all of our skill gem levels as well. So we've got level 23 Anger, we've got level soon to be 22 Zealotry, and level 22 Discipline, or Val Discipline. So we have that quick regen that we can hit now and again. In our wand, which has the trigger socketed spell, we have Bone Offering. Now, this is how we get max blocks. So the synergy of Bone Offerings, as we cast, it'll trigger, and then that'll give you spell and attack block, and you'll get up to, what's that? Just shy of 50 block across the board. So that way you can sustain as you take more damage as well, your block rate increases. But anyway, that's how we're sustaining and getting enough block to be able to take those big hits. I am running Arcane Surge because I had a look at what other people had done, and I felt it was gratuitous to not run that, and we were always going to be casting, so it made sense to have Arcane Surge up and running as well. And that's also going to give you 19% more spell damage, which is going to amp up your damage as well. We are also running Wave of Conviction in this setup. Now, be very careful as to how you tweak this, because your remaining mana pool is really going to dictate whether or not you can sustain the gems in here, since they added in the fact that now your gems have 150% more cost when they're triggered in the thing. We don't have free trigger gems anymore like we used to, like 3-4 patches ago. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Sorry about the coughing. Got a bit of sinus today. So in the chest, we've got Volatile dead. I do have a level 21 gem. Detonate dead, level 21 gem. Inspiration, which will soon be level 20. Awaken Spell Cascade, and in the absence of this, just Spell Cascade is fine. This is like a 4x gem, or 3.5x gem, so don't stress if you don't have this straight away. 5 Penetration. Now you can run Elemental Damage, or Elemental Focus, but I found 5 Penetration was just better. Mine's almost at level 3, but I haven't done enough strength to level it up. And then Spellslinger is the obvious, and we want level 21 Spellslinger as well. In our gloves, we run Spell Cascade again, Spellslinger again, Desecrate, and Herald of Ash. You don't have to have that Herald of Ash linked, it won't do anything anyway. And then in our boots, we're running Frenzy, level 1 Frenzy. It's really important, level 1 Frenzy, so the mana cost is reduced. We don't need it for damage, we just need it to proc our abilities. And then we have Barrage, and in this case I got 21, level 21 Barrage. Faster attacks, so we can attack a lot faster. Now, if I had more dexterity, in fact I do, I'd do a lot more damage, or cast it a lot quicker. So yeah, that's the thing. And then just Flame Dash, because obviously we need a movement skill to be able to dodge when Sirus is about to one-hit us. So that's pretty much it for gem setups. Really straightforward stuff. Yeah, that's gems. Alright, so we'll do the path of building in the actual tree itself today. So pretty much you're going to come up, grab these energy shield nodes here, come down, grab these nodes here, grab this here. You're going to get Undertaker. You're not going to get Pain Attunement until you achieve low life. And by the way, this is not what I would do for League Start, so don't take this as a League Starter build. It is not a League Starter build. Then we're going to get Alacrity, and we're going to get Physique. We'll come up and we'll grab Influence as well. We also get Written in Blood. We want this shield mastery, energy shield mastery for Regenerate Energy Shield. We're going to come down and get Ethereal Feast. This is going to give us increased Leech. And then also in the Leech Mastery, because we use Energy Shield Leech as well as on hit, and that's how we sustain a gratuitous amount of sustain. And then we'll come back down here. Come up, we're going to grab our Wicked Ward. A lot of other builds aren't using Wicked Ward. I think it's really good. It saves you in that clutch zone when you really need to recharge. Yeah, it's a really good skill to have. You don't necessarily need it, and I haven't tried it without, but you know, when you can't leech off something, you're taking sustained damage, but if you can regen enough until your energy shield recharge kicks in, this is a really good node to have. Then you'll come across, you're going to get Arcane Will, Arcane Focus, because we want all the arcane skills. And then we'll come up and we'll grab Wand Slinger, because we're using a wand, go figure. And then our Wand Mastery, where we want to get Unnerve enemies for 4 seconds on hit with wands, which means your Elemental Focus, your Frenzy is going to unnerve enemies, and that's going to increase damage. We are going to be running max blocks, so Prodigal Perfection, and then Mystic Bulwark as well. Then you want to get your socket for your Thread of Hope. And then from there, you're going to pick up Mental Rapidity. You're going to pick up Heart of Flame for that fire pen. You're going to pick up Static Blows because, you know, we want to shock enemies now and again. Essence Surge as well for faster regen, and then Arcane Focus. So you can sub this out instead of spending a point here. You can pick up Arcane Focus. Doesn't really matter. You can get it either way. You don't need any other points here. Blast Radius will do nothing, and Lightning Walker will do absolutely jack shit. So you don't need anything else here. Then you come across, pick up Unnatural Calm. We're getting Elemental Overload. In the case that we do crit, we get that increased elemental damage, and that's just going to make our life easier. Then we're going to get these energy shield nodes here to Insightfulness. That helps us manage our mana cost down further, and then we also want to gain 3% of maximum mana as extra energy shield. Now, if you need the strength node, take the might node here, and also agility. And then in my case, I will probably need that in the next level up. Then come up, get Zealot's Oath, because obviously we're low life and regenerating HP is not going to help us. Then you'll apply your Cluster Jewel here, and yeah, you'll chuck it in here. So you got Widespread Destruction, Corrosive Elements, and Prismatic Heart. You could get like Mage Hunter and things like that. I think it's Mage Hunter. But anyway, you could get a 1 cluster as well, but that's the one that I went with, which was unfortunately about 4-5x. Then you'll come down, you'll grab Purity of Flesh. This gets our Chaos Resistant up to like, what, 31%. And then when our Flask goes down, we'll have 66%. So almost max resist for Chaos. We want to grab Sovereignty and Reservation Mastery as well. Then we'll come and, because we're going to be buffing up our, basically using minion skills to buff up our Volatile Dead and whatnot and our corpses, you want to get Spiritual Aid. Now, thing about this, and I haven't done it in this build yet, is you can get support Spectres, like Arena Masters. That's probably what I'm going to do. You get those from Drox areas, and that's going to increase your attack speed and damage. So that's by all means one way to go around this. I haven't had a look at Spectres in great detail yet, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to feed them into this build, but I might find a way. I might sub out a node and get rid of something, or simplify something, or something of that nature. Remove my movement skill altogether, possibly. I'm not entirely sure yet. But, you know, where there's a way, there's a will. And then we'll also get Minion Offense Mastery, and we're going to get 20% increased effective offerings as well, because we're running a build that procs our offerings against us with Mistress of Sacrifice. This is going to give your bone offering more of an effect on you, which is going to keep you alive. Then we'll pick up Faith and Steel. Divine Judgment, Elemental Mastery, we want increased effective non-damaging elements. Surprisingly, that increases our damage significantly. Divine Fury as well, and then this last jewel socket down here. Now, for Ascendancies, you're going to go with Commander of Darkness first, you'll get Plaguebringer next, then you'll get Corpse Pack next, and then you're going to get Mistress of Sacrifice. So we're not going near any of these other nodes here. When you're leveling up, you could potentially get Essence Glutton to keep you alive in the mapping phase, but eventually you're going to want Mistress of Sacrifice so you can get up to that almost max block feel. That's pretty much the tree, really straightforward stuff. But yeah, I'll put the POB in the description, and feel free to ask any questions you've got as well in the comments. Alright, so Pantheon, Solar Solaris, fully unlocked, just gives you that single target damage reduction, which is good for this build. Means you can sit still, and also Solar Tukahama, same scenario, physical damage reduction and flat life per second regen when you're stationary, which is really good if you just want to sit there and go wah on bosses like you would have seen me do in my streams and at the start and hopefully at the end of this video. Alright, question people ask me in the comments all the time is, what is my MTXs? So running the Imperator kits, which is the new supporters pack that's out. Imperator weapon effect, Scourge weapon effect. I do have Arcane Celestial Shield, Expedition Footprints, which are locked now. You can't get those anymore. I do have the Imperator Portal and just a Huntsman Hypnotic Toad and Huntsman Dragonfly Pet, because why not? On my skills, which is what you can see here, all this sort of crazy shit, I have Void Volatile Dead and Void Detonate Dead. And I'm also running Arcane Frenzy effect as well. And my auras, Overseer Aura and Scavenger Aura, which is what you can see down here as I'm running around. But that's pretty much it for MTXs. Alright, so you've heard all the boring shit. Let's run a map and show you what this bad boy looks like. So we'll just increase audio. Just drop that down. Alright, so let's just run... This will do. I don't even know where to put that in there. So the biggest thing with this is it's just a mapper. It's not made for Delve. It's not made for other different content in the game, but mapping, it's pro. So pretty much you just sort of hold down, it'll just destroy everything. And then as soon as you get to the point where your, as soon as you get to the point where your meter is full for Scourge, you want to go into Scourge mode. As you can see here, it just blasts through everything. So now you just go straight in the Scourge, V on the keyboard, and then just blast through Scourge. And this is what you guys would have seen me doing over the last day. And honestly, it's just comfortable at this stage. My hand's a little bit slow at this point because I've been doing this for so long. We'll just ignore that Zana mission. Let's get to the boss. So yeah. And this has pretty much been my strategy for the last day. So back to Scourged. And the best thing is like you can off-screen enemies, and that's just next level. It's the only thing I don't like about Scourge. It just takes you back to where you were. So pretty much it's just moving around, keep popping your flame dash, keep mobile. And if any enemy does, if any enemy doesn't die straight away, you just hold the button down and hope to dear God. Alright. Let's kill this thug. Come on, dude. Move it. Move it. Get in that portal so I can blast you to oblivion. Right. So now, we're just going to spawn all of our volatile dead thingamabobs, orbs. And melt him. As you can see, like, even though I haven't got crazy physical damage reduction, it still holds its own, and we can just sort of face tank shit too. Like that synergy between leech, on hit, block. And you know, this has got decent mods on it too. This isn't a, like, white tier map that is basic. There we go. And we've got another twister drop. Bam. There we go. That's simple. So yeah, if you've got any questions, POB will be in the description. I'm going to carry this through to a life build too, so I'm going to have a look at how I do a league start with this and the Vortex build for next league, because I think that they're really good builds. But yeah, if you've got any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, until next time, have a good one, and bye.